All right, we live. It says we are live. Here we go. We're back with you on Sunday Night Rumbling. I'm here with Stephen Phillips of Run Drip and Bubble Company. We got Sean Fatty Tire Guy Thomas. How are you, brother?
Fat tire guy.
Fat Tire Guy. We got Eastern Hot Rodder down here with John, and then from how are you, brother?
How's it going? Good.
I like your sign, man. Your sign looks good behind you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look professional. And we got Copperhead Customs down there. His wife's driving him somewhere, and he looks happy. What's going? Where are you going?
Out for brekkie.
You got it made in the shade. You're his car updates and fixes ain't working too good. I've been trying some of them. It ain't been working too good at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you seen some of them stuff he's been doing. Voting on
Yeah.
cookings and everything else.
My favorite one was the woofer.
Yeah.
The subwoofer, you like that one?
Oh, there comes Flat Broke in there. He's if anybody's watching, I don't know if we got somebody watching yet or not, but Flat Broke is the only one that actually in the group that's got credit.
For what? Being an idiot?
Said you had like an $80,000 credit limit. I'm like, wow.
Not anymore. I closed that account. That's over.
Yeah, when your wife found out you was gonna buy a helicopter, she put the
That was
clothes in
cool.
the rack.
I'm bidding on a ready mix, or a concrete mixer now.
Oh, that'd be good. I can deal with that. I need
There you
that.
go. I just sold one. I just
Yeah,
sold one of those last year.
yeah.
I didn't know you needed one.
We're
I
fixing
think
to,
it's diesel powered. Mixes like a yard of concrete. $200.
that's cheap enough. When you get it, I won't borrow it. That's what your friends are for. Hey, can I borrow you that?
Yeah, it's trailer mounted. It's got a little chute, So
Kid?
We've got to. I actually bought a car lift. We ain't had a car lift since I've been born. And anyway, I bought a lift, and we got to put it in the shop up there. But when I do that, I ain't gonna be able to get my garbage trucks in the shop. So we're gonna have to add another section to the side, big enough to get the trucks in. So I need.
that just sucks. More garage.
Yeah, I know it. And you happen to have a concrete mixer, so I'm all about that.
Well, at 1 yard at a time,
I can deal with that. That's better than what we normally do with a wheelbarrow, just scrub back and forth. You know how that goes.
We'll know tomorrow by 7 if it's mine.
There you go. I've been hooking up with some of these auctions, man. All online auctions. They're dangerous. Very dangerous.
Oh, govdeals.com that's the crack of auctions right there.
Yeah. I'm with you. So I
Well,
don't know.
I officially confirmed that I passed my car gene on to my oldest daughter.
Okay.
I found a 46 Ford Gasser roller, and she's like, "Dad, I got enough money to buy that." So my 16-year-old wants to buy a 46 Gasser with no motor.
I'm proud of her. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
Real
don't know if
proud.
it'll happen or not, but it might end up being a winter project.
Jeez. Man, did y'all see that plane crash they had there a day or two ago out there in Texas?
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah. I
We
went to
were
that.
just at a show with those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the air show?
Yeah.
No
Mhm.
kidding. I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah. It was a midair collision.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad right in the middle of nowhere. They was up there. I know for a fact they were all up there at Oshkosh. We went to Oshkosh for that one. I remember seeing all of them and talking to them and stuff. But and that's a bad day. Yep. That was a bad day.
Yeah. That wasn't good.
Yep. How's the weather down under, man? We're about to freeze death up here in Georgia.
Hot and humid.
Hot and
Lucky.
humid. Is your
Where
wife
we are, down south, they're flooding down south. But yeah, where we are, we're good.
Oh, really?
Is your wife gonna take you out for breakfast?
Yeah, she's just here.
Let's see her. Hey, babe. All I see is her hand. She's like, "Don't put me online."
Nah, she's there. She is.
There she is. There she is. Is she a good cook, or can we ask you that when she's in the car with you?
Yeah, she's a good cook, but generally I do the cooking.
Oh,
See, we made a mistake. We used to own a hotel. We got a pub. We call them here. I don't know what you call them there. Hotels, yeah. So we owned a hotel, and the chef was annoying me, so I sacked him, and then I went into the kitchen and did all the cooking in the restaurant side of the pub, and then so I played my cards, didn't I? She worked out I could cook good, so then I do most of the cooking now.
See, you shot yourself.
Yeah, you messed up, man. I don't know how to do anything. I can't do dishes. I don't know how to load the dishwasher. I can't do any of that stuff.
Your wife dies, you're feral, right?
Yeah, I figured out that like when she told me to wash clothes, I just put everything in there together, and it all come out pink. It was white. Yeah, but don't you ever do the laundry anymore? And I pouted up like it made me mad, but deep down I was like, I won. Oh Lordy, golly, man, it's getting cold weather up here, man. What y'all got planned? Anything for the winter time? I mean, I seen y'all out. You put Eastern Hot Rodder, or John, you was at a car show there a couple of days ago, and looked like it was a pretty good show. But these about the end of that, ain't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much, that was kind of like the last hurrah. We got this Wednesday, we have a cruise in at Comfort Grub. We do our monthly cruise throughout the whole.
And I'll be in Chicago. Damn it, I'll miss the last one.
What are you going to be doing in Chicago? You better carry your guns. All I got to say.
I'm from there. I ain't afraid of it. You got to see if you're not from there, we can tell.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm one of them. They don't bother me. I'm actually working at the Muscle Car Corvette Nationals.
Oh, cool.
My friend puts the show on. It's a really good muscle car show. I'll be posting videos of it, like behind the scenes and setup. They're doing the Aero War cars this year. It's all the Daytona, Superbirds, Talladegas, that kind of thing. It's going to be the feature cars.
Have you seen the Mecum? There's probably what they're claiming the biggest wing car collection in the world is just right down the road here in Blue Ridge or LJ. And anyway, and I watched the Mecum on YouTube video that they did showing the cars and everything. And then of course the woman, the man's wife that owns this, towards the end of the video, she says that we're on to bigger and better things after they sell this car. And I'm like, I think maybe she's never heard the George Jones song, "Once Nothing Is As Good as Once You've Had the Best," because they've got some real rare cars, and I don't see how they're going to go on to any bigger or better of a collection than what they've got that they're fixing to sell next month or in January.
A lot of them goes Ferraris and all that. They step up to that kind of stuff. I reckon I was supposed to go down there today, but I didn't hear back from them. But I got a guy supposed to take me down there to that place. I'm gonna go there and check it out. It's just down in Blue Ridge.
Yeah,
right.
How many cars does he have?
I don't know, but they say that it's pretty much the world's biggest collection of wing cars. He's got one that they showed that's a total original. And it's not been fluffed up or anything. And, of course, that would be my pick out of all of them because they're the only original ones. But they've got some killer cars. He's even got a 4-door Cuda.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. I like to see that. I'm hoping they're going to take me down to see that. But I'm supposed to go down. Hopefully, they sent me a message yesterday and they take me down there and see that. But I'm with you on that. But I don't know, man. I got a guy in Tennessee that's got several of them things gathered up. Now, they ain't all restored by all means, but he's got a pretty good.
That's the guy up in Tellico Plains?
Yeah, he's got a pretty good load of them things. And a lot of Talladegas and Dan Gurney Fords and all that kind of stuff. But now, he passed away, but his boy, I didn't realize he'd passed away. I went by, every time I go through there, I always stop and see him. And last time I was through there, he says Dad passed away, but his boy is just as nice as he could be. But
my friend Ryan Brutt, he's the auto archaeologist on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Mopar, huge Mopar guy, and he does the barn finds. He used to do barn finds articles in Hot Rod Magazine,
right?
And he's still doing them now. He's taken me to all those places. It's amazing the amount of wing cars that are still around. They didn't even build that many. And there's a lot of them right here in this centralized area.
Well, this is NASCAR country. That's one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all seen that picture of that one race car that he's got on a trailer. It's all to pieces, but I posted it on, you can do them post on YouTube now like you do Facebook, but let me see if I can find that. But it's like an old NASCAR car, but I don't know.
The one that they reskinned?
No, it's just on a trailer. Let me see if I can find it here.
Yeah, it was on a trailer that they reskinned it. It was an original NASCAR, and they reskinned it with an aspen skin sheet metal.
Well, this is still the sheet metal from the. Let me find. Golly, I got too many pictures. Way too many pictures.
There was a guy in Loudonville. There's a house. He used to drive by it all the time when we did deliveries up in Loudonville, New York. The guy had a wing car in his driveway, just sat outside. It was just rough, paint was faded down to look like primer, and the car just sat outside, not even 40 feet off the road. He just backed up to his garage door. And every time we drove by, we kept looking at, man, I said, I can't believe that's still there. And sat there for years. Then one day I drove by it and the wing was missing off it. And the next time I went by, the car was gone. I don't know if the guy took the wing off or someone started to steal parts off it, so he moved it, or what happened to the thing. But I always wondered if that car's sitting in his driveway out in the weather, just out in the open like that, what was in that garage? And
I had a chance to buy a blue Superbird, a wing car. It was about 1977. I was like 16 years old. And what had happened was the guy had bought it. I don't know what the deal was. He bought it and went to Vietnam. And he didn't make it. From wherever it was, he went into service, didn't make it. But he left the car at his mom's house. Had like 20,000 miles on it. And she covered it with a tarp, and she couldn't bear to sell it. And I know I always wanted it. It was right down the street. And then the time she finally was going to sell it. I was, of course, older and working, couldn't afford it. But it had pretty much rotted to the ground. But $1,500 I could have bought it for.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh,
That's when you go get a cosigner.
yeah. Well,
You'd get a cosigner today. I mean, if if it was just a matter of a small amount like that, because of course that seems like big amounts when you're not making, but probably bringing home $80 a week or something.
I was gonna say it's probably making $3 an hour. $3-4 an hour. So
I'm looking.
If you don't have $1,500, then it might as well be $20,000.
Oh yeah,
right,
I got married in '86, and then I can remember in '87. A lady that cut me and my wife's hair. She had a little old studio at her house and got her haircut. But anyway, her husband had I think it was a '71 Chevrolet truck, long wheelbase for $300. And here we are. We just been married about a year, and we got a little boy and everything. And I was just sitting there trying to back then thinking how I could get $300. He had that, back $300 whenever you're, when you're working, and every dime you make, just it seems like to go towards the household. Even $300 can be like $3 million.
Yeah,
exactly. Every penny counts.
Everybody looking for these cars. I've got too many pictures. I need to delete some, but most of them my grandbaby. I hate to delete my grandbaby.
This could be interesting today because we've already been road raged once. So
Yeah.
you might have some live action happening.
I'm gonna video it, man. I'm gonna video you getting run over by somebody and getting out. That'd be good. Y'all talk about these barn finds and all. Of course, I've come across a few, every now and then, and stuff you can't buy. But I hate it when somebody comes up to me and says, "Man, there is a Barracuda, and it's over so and so and so and so. You can't miss it." And so you go over there and you look and you look and you look and you can't find it. And finally, when you do find it, you find out it's like a Ford Fairmont or something. It ain't even a Barracuda. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, do you not know the difference? I mean, how many times does that happen to y'all? Somebody tell you, "Oh, I found you a Barracuda or Dodge Charger."
Yeah, that's like, I think that's 90% of what happens. I mean, you go up to look at something and it turns out to be completely different than. We drove a trailer one time all the way up to the. We were still in upstate New York, but we went all the way to the top of Vermont for a. If I remember, it was a 36 Ford that my dad wanted. And we get all the way up there, and the guy misrepresented the car so bad. And we drove the trailer all the way up there, and the guy, he just thought if we brought the trailer, we'd take it no matter what. And the whole frame was butchered. It was pretty junk, And it turned out he was selling it for this lady. He would go around and find out who had old cars and then try to sell them and take a cut of the profit on the real owner, and he never even really looked at the car.
I hate that. Here, if y'all can see that, let me see if I can get it. Somebody, we've lost
Oh
somebody.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
How come you can't? Is it blurry?
It's a little blurry, but there it is.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, it's pretty well.
Can you see it now?
It's blurry, but
Yeah.
Steven's got the best story about a car going, him rushing home from school and getting his dad. And you finished the story about going to look at that car for that price, Stephen.
Oh, you talking about that one? Daddy said he found me a car for $350, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy said he'd take 3.5 for it. Man, we just loaded up. Daddy said we need to go get that, and we got down there and we was looking it all over. And I thought, dang, that's cheap for this because I can't remember what it was. It's an old Dodge or Crosser or something. And I had the money in my pocket, man. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Of course, you know we're still gonna try to Jew. You know how that sends you. But Daddy said, all right, what's the least you gonna take for this? He said, well, I was asking 3.5, but I'd probably take 3,200.
That's it.
Like, wait a minute. 3.5 is $350 in my book, man. I don't know where you come up with 3.5.
Exactly.
What the heck? Well, we was disappointed on the way back home, though.
My dad saw it in the paper one time. It said 64 Corvette. So he called, and it was cheap. This is this is a long time ago, but it was like listed for like $500 or something. And my dad's like, holy crow, he dials the number up, and this guy with a thick Italian accent, he's like, yeah, it's like. And my dad goes, is the car? Yeah, it's a very nice car. You just come on out, you drive it, no problem. So my dad says, I'll be right over, and he grabs the cash and runs over, and he pulls in the driveway, and the guy comes out of the house. He goes, what do you think? My dad goes, well, where's the Corvette? He goes, right there. My dad goes, that's a Corvair. And the guy goes, oh, Corvette. What's the difference?
That's like that guy. He asked that girl out, and she said, what kind of car you drive? I said, oh, I drive a Vet, baby. Oh, okay, I'll go out with you. And he shows up with a Chevette.
Yeah. I guarantee you.
But listen, y'all are talking about these. We were talking about winter. Of course, I've got so many projects. I don't know which end to start on. I mean, and then Dylan gets mad at me. That's my middle boy. He's like, dude, you can't start another project. Like we got the Bronco over there. I'm getting motor built on it. And so I'm kind of in limbo, and I hate to start on it. We've right now got the Cadillac painted, which it'll probably be painted next week, hopefully, and we'll be done with it pretty much.
Right.
But I'd like to, I like to keep stuff going. While I'm waiting on one thing, I start on another. Do y'all do that, or y'all just wait and continue on at one rig? No, not at all.
I started on taking the rat rod apart, and I still got some stuff to do to the Willys. And then I bought the Thunderbird, and I got to work on my dad's car, and he bought a little race car, and then we got his panel truck back, and of course I got to change something on my daughter's car. So I only have 8 things to do.
Yeah, but I've got that 49 Ford. You know that one? I don't know if y'all watched that video where I found it. That it actually belonged to Pete Underwood on that car. And then when he passed away, they put it in he had the Guff station, Hiawassee Guff, and they put it in there and opened the antique store. How long was that store open, Sean? It was open for years.
Good gosh, it was. I know back in the 50s.
But they had that thing up on a lift inside that place to just kind of look just for decor while they had the antique store in there, and it sat in there for years. Anyway, I finally ended up with it, but the motor and all was gone out of it. So he called me the other day with that 289. I think I told you all that. So I'm gonna go. I texted him. I told him I was gonna come get it, but he hadn't texted me back yet to get that 289. But I was thinking about some of the upgrades on that. I don't, I think a 289 will be fine. I don't know how many horses it's got, but it ain't gonna take a whole lot to move that thing. I'm not gonna be in no race.
Well, whatever it is, it'll be more than the Flathead ever dreamed to have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's actually a original six-cylinder car, because I did run the VIN on the thing, so it actually had a 6. And Daddy said that the 6 had more power than the 8s did back in the day. He said
more torque, yeah.
Yeah. But I've been looking at that. I want power brakes. I want power disc brakes, and that's about $800 for the kit to come. I found that, all the stuff for that. Air conditioning, I don't do what.
Where'd you find that kit?
Let's see. It's called. Hold on a minute. I got it here. Early Ford Store.
Okay.
I think it's called.
Speedway Motors has some good disc brake kits. It was,
Shoebox Central. Shoebox Central. You ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, Shoebox Central. So I've got
use the stock spindles, and they just adapt it and put rotors and brackets on.
Yeah, you got to do a little bit of grinding to get them on there. And then I wanted the brake. You can either get the brake booster to go up on the dash or on the firewall, or you can put it back where it's at. I'm gonna put it back underneath the floor.
Yeah, keep the firewall clean.
Yeah, I want it looking good. But power steering, man, I've been running this power steering, and I definitely want power steering on that thing. So so I'm Googling. I'm like everybody else, man. I stay on YouTube all the time. You can get, I think it's a Saturn View or another one that's got electric power steering. Have y'all ever heard anything about that?
I've heard some stuff. I've never tried it, but I imagine. I mean, a lot of new cars run that now. They have it's a variable speed dependent. It's based on how fast you're going. So in the parking lots it'll be real easy, but on the highway it'll stiffen itself up.
Well, the way I there's 4 or 5 different ones everybody's using, but it's self-contained electric motor, and you got your stern wheel goes in one side, and then it goes out to the sector on the other side. And when you turn the wheel this way, it works. Just whenever you start turning, it turns the wheel.
Summit sells them to put on them steering shafts.
How much are they?
I don't know. You'll just have to look, but it's electric power. It's electric power steering thing, and you just hook it up. It hooks up to the column.
Yeah,
your box and everything stays the same.
And you just mount it underneath the dash.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if you lose power to it? Does it just go into manual steering mode, or does it feel or is it harder?
Yeah, it still goes into manual steering.
Okay, so it does. So you either have manual steering or power, and no, it doesn't get stiffer like when your power steering.
Yeah, it'd be just like power steering. I mean, the rod I think goes through there. I don't know. I hope if the battery goes dead, you don't lose steering. Just spin the wheel. Yeah.
I should be getting my tunnel ram my 440 from Wolf's Machine over there this week.
Well, I think he had it running.
Yeah, the video that I had of it running, it had the weak valve springs in it and stuff just to break a cam in.
Right.
But he's got all the valve springs in it now, and he run it another time, but he's going to warm it up Monday and then do a leak down test to make sure everything's doing good on the valves, and then I'll pick it up.
Does your wife know how much money you got in that thing?
Yeah, she knows. I don't hide nothing from my wife.
Well, I do.
It's I don't never do that. I just, basically I don't have a good enough memory. If you start telling lies, you got to have a real good memory.
Hey, Copperhead, did you ever tell your wife about them 3 cars you bought for, what was that, $22,000 or something?
She doesn't care what I do.
Okay.
My money, I'll do what I want with it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm
she just said it. Whatever keeps me happy. She doesn't care.
Oh,
as long
I'll buy and sell whatever I
as
want.
you don't lose money. As long as you don't lose money, it's all right. But
my wife could care less too. But my problem that bugs her is that everything comes and we park out here beside the house. That's what bugs her. She's like, I'm so sick of these cars sitting around the house. Take them up to the shop, But
yeah,
I ain't got no room up there, man. I'm like, I ain't got where to put them. That's the only thing she gets on me about. And she's got we've got a 2-car garage, and it's a drive-through, and I've got my side, which is lined with cars, and we kind of keep hers open, where she can come in and out. But that's the only drawback on it.
That's what my wife told me. She says that the garage that's attached to the house is my place to park my car. I said, okay, we'll keep it that way.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty interested in that power steering, that electric power steering. That would take all the work out of it, because we got that Jeep. Dylan's fixing to start on that Jeep. He's got a 72 Jeep, and it ain't got no power steering on it either.
Great for that, yeah, especially for being in the woods and stuff.
Now, the one I looked at actually had a computer box on it. I don't know what the computer box does, but then Dylan found another one that didn't have the computer box. It's just a straight motor with the power to it.
What do they run?
Yeah, you can get them.
$150.
Really? That's all. No
What's this junk? You just got bite off a view. I mean, just go to the junkyard. I figured I'd go down there to what's that one down there at Cleveland? What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's got that junkyard down at Cleveland. He keeps pretty late model stuff. He's easy to work
I know
with.
what you're talking about. Yeah. I know the
Cleveland, Georgia, or Cleveland, Tennessee?
Cleveland, Georgia.
Yeah.
I wish I could think of his name. I can't remember his name.
He actually just bought a tire machine from us.
Yeah. He's a mess. That guy's a mess.
Is it?
Yeah, he's a hoot. I can't remember his name though. I ain't been there in a while, but I thought I'd try that. It's got to beat trying to hook up power. I mean,
no brackets to worry about on the motor. No
and all that hydraulic hoses and trying to get a fan hooked up to the motor and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that one he looked at come off of a Prius,
really?
electric stern thing off of a Prius.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. But if I get disc brakes and power steering, V8 with air conditioning, I'm done. I don't even know if I'm gonna paint it. I think I'm just gonna leave it like it is.
That car's cool as can be, just the way it is, man. I think you're right on the right track with that. Get it so it's good, comfortable daily driver, kind of long-legged if you want to, and
But now it's still got the 3-speed in it. That's something I'm kind of. I don't know.
Nice to put an overdrive in it.
Yeah, I thought about putting put maybe a 5-speed or automatic. Might go with automatic.
Are you taking it to Bonneville?
Man, I like to cruise, man. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear that.
You can drive it if you got an overdrive, you can drive it to Bonneville.
You know, we built that Thunder Chicken. I got that Thunder Chicken. We put a 5-speed in it, and we took that rear end, positive traction rear end out of a Super Coupe. And fifth gear is about like fourth, and I need to change it. But I like to hear that thing idle. But you know, you run around, it's like first gear is useless in that Thunderbird because it goes. I mean, it revs to red line just so quick. It's and then you. So I mean, it's just. I like the gear ratio to be right. I like to see that thing just kind of idling down the road, you know.
Is it a 373?
In that Thunder Chicken?
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's positive traction though. I mean,
it's probably 373, which with the tire size is a pretty low gear.
Yeah, we took that thing over to that autocross. It done good on that autocross because we got all that heavy springs on it. I mean, it handles like a dream for a Thunderbird or a Thunder Chicken. We call it Thunder Chicken. Y'all got
I've watched them autocross, but like, you know, Roadkill will go out there with a box stock, brand new rental car Kia and run almost as good as any of them old V8 cars. You know?
Hey, y'all see that? What's that guy down there that's got the racetrack? I want to go down there and race. What's his name? Yeah, McFarland, Cletus McFarland. Dylan's home. He's in there telling me all that. Did y'all see where he just bought that Porsche? I watched it today. He bought the Porsche from Coparts, and it says runs and drives, and he got it home, and the motor and the transmission was busted in two after he got it home.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a sponsor will take care of him on that.
I reckon.
They're taking it back.
That's what Copart, they didn't call him, said, bring it back. We'll take it.
Yeah, only because of who he is. I bet you they wouldn't do that if it was you.
No,
they wouldn't do it me. No,
if it was me, they'd be saying when I call them back, you know, there was some tax you didn't pay. Be wanting to collect more money.
Yeah, that's it. I got pulled over to the law the other day, and I said, "You know who I am? I'm Sean Fat Tire Guy Thomas." And he didn't help at all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be no help at all from you. Hey, I always respect the law, and any of my burnout videos, I'm doing it in my parking lot. I don't get out on the road and do it.
You know, you talking about that? That's funny. Oh, we used to have now we live in the South, man. We down here in redneck country. We had a deputy named Jelly Taylor. That's what we call him. Remember Jelly? He was
he's a good one.
He was a deputy sheriff up here. Y'all ever do, you know what I'm talking about, backing her down? Does that make any sense to you? I mean, I know it probably does, John. You ever backed one down?
John probably don't know about that. I think that's just a thing in the South.
Okay, well, anyway, you'll take a car, like I had that Barracuda, of course, you tear it up and you put it in reverse and you go backwards and then you jam it in first gear and and then you just light the tires up and the car will actually go backwards, burning rubber. And then it'll start. Yeah.
I never did that because I didn't want to bust anything.
Well, we were young and dumb. But anyway, I backed out of a buddy of mine's house like that, and that Barracuda, man, it would light the wheels up 340, 4-speed. Man, that thing was burning wheels. He's out there yaying. But what I didn't realize, he was telling me to stop, because Jelly Taylor was right behind me. And he just come around the curve in the police car. He didn't write me a ticket, man. I snuck into the gas station up there at the top of the hill, and he said, "Man, you think I'm a damn fool?" He said, "What the heck you think you're doing?" I said, "If I'd have seen you, I wouldn't have done that." But anyway, you know, he thought it was funny as I did, but yeah, that was a bad day. Yeah, we have towards them. That's the thing about it. You know, a lot of young punks, like an automatic, you know, if you go in reverse and automatic jerk her down and drive, that loose motion, man, can tear rear end universal joint. But if you got a 4-speed, see, when you go in reverse, then you can kind of tighten it up before you let go.
Sure.
Yeah, we learned that early, but that was a lot of fun. But
I burnt two holes in the pavement in front of Joe Shook over there at Hayesville.
Yeah,
he was just a state trooper, and you know, he come rolling down. That was in front of the wire plant over there on Tusquity. Anyway, when I got her going smoking real good, then he rolled down the hill. I never lifted. I went by him spinning, and because there wasn't no sense in lifting out of it, I just went ahead and some of the guys that I worked with there, they was out there just sitting there going like that. And then, but I just went on up out of sight where they wouldn't see me get a ticket, because you know there's no talking out of that ticket. You just hand them your stuff, you know.
Oh, now in Union County over Blairsville, I don't know if it's still up there. It was $100 fine, right, for laying a drag. That's what you call it. $100 fine to lay a drag in the city limits. I mean, that was period. That's what it was. And that back when I was, that's a lot of money. $100 was. Mm-hmm. And my mama had '81 Cadillac Coupe de Ville with a 4.3 liter V6, and I borrowed that thing off of her for some reason. I don't remember what it was, and I was over at Blairsville, and I backed that thing down because I wasn't but 16. You know how it is. And there was a law. And he pulled me over, I mean, right off the get-go. Of course, it's a 4.3. It really didn't burn all that much, but it did bark and make a big racket. He walked up to me, and I just knew I was in trouble. And he said, young man, he said, I was 16 driving an '81 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, which wasn't probably 2 years old. He said, you drive this damn car like it's yours. He knew good and well I couldn't afford no Cadillac.
That's about right.
Yeah, but he still wrote me a $100 ticket.
Did he?
Yeah, Lord, yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
one night at go ahead.
That ticket that I got over there when I burnt the holes in the pavement. So I go to court, you know, and of course you're talking to the guys at work. I wonder how much this is going to cost. I wonder how much this is cost. Oh, it shouldn't be over $100. It shouldn't be over $100. So I go up there. I think I took $125 with me. I saved up $125 because the court date was a month. What anyway? But anyway, go up there to the judge, and the judge says $100. So I've got enough money. You go down and pay the clerk of the court. So I go down to the clerk's office, and anyway, they said that's $150. The judge just said $100. There's $50 court cost, son. And I've only got $125. Well, you're going to have to go see the judge again.
Another $50.
So I had to go up there while they're having court proceedings. And so I just walked through, you know, I was probably about 21, 22. Anyway, I just walked through the little gate that they had there, and I just looked straight at the judge. I wasn't waving my hands. I just sat there and looked at him. And then whenever he saw that I was there and, you know, acknowledged me, then I stepped forward and told him I'm $25 short on the fines. And he asked me where I worked, and I told him at Orbit Manufacturing. When do you get paid? Well, I get paid on Thursday, you know, and he wanted to know what time and everything. And he said like 30 minutes after the time that I got paid that day that I had, you know, to be there 30 minutes after I got paid to finish paying the fines. And so I just went back down there to the clerk, you know, but how embarrassing to have to go back up before him again, you know. They're telling you said $100. They told me $150, you know. Everybody's adding fees on here.
That's why everybody's got to get their part, man.
That's right.
You'll find out.
I had a speeding ticket that I was in court for. It was the ticket wasn't for much, but they just changed the speed limit to 65 on the New York State Thruway. So I was keeping up with traffic, and everybody else slowed down, and I didn't. I got a ticket for 71 and a 65, and they were just trying to keep it at 65. So my first ticket in a long time, and you know, my license was clean and everything, so I had to go to court for it. And remember, I walked in, and I had to plead my case to the cop first. You know, I told him, I said, I'm, you know, paying my way through college and all this other stuff. And he says, all right. He goes, you got a clean license? I said, yes, sir. And he says, all right, say 4 Hail Marys. And he stops. He goes, are you Catholic? I said, no, but I will be if you need me to be.
There you go.
So in the courtroom, it was like the judge is pretty strict, and this other guy was ahead of us. He was ranting and raving. He was a big drove an 18-wheeler, and he had like $5,100 in fines. And he was all mad. And he says, I'm going to tell you, Judge, I'm not paying any of these damn fines. And, you know, he's going on and on about it. And he's like, and the judge says, wait a second, you got to pay something. And he says, no. He says, look, I'm going to tell you what happened. He goes, I had a wire fire on my trailer. He said, that's why I didn't have any taillights. He says, so I shouldn't have to pay that ticket. He goes, I used my fire extinguisher to put the fire out. He says, so I shouldn't have to pay that ticket. He goes, and I threw the fire extinguisher on the seat, and he gave me an unsecured load ticket. I shouldn't have to pay that ticket. And he's like, and he's all mad about it. And he goes, just trying to get it up 100 yards up the road to get in my driveway. So that's why I didn't have my seatbelt on. And the judge says, all right, relax. He says, you got to pay the seatbelt ticket and you'll be fine. He goes, I'm not paying anything. And he's going, I'm not going to pay a darn thing. And the judge says, son, you got to pay the seatbelt ticket or you're going to pay all of them. He goes, I'm not paying for any of these. This is bull. And he says, the judge like slaps his hands down. He leans forward. He goes, son, you're going to pay the $125 seatbelt ticket or you're going to pay all $5,200 or whatever it was in fines. And the guy goes, I'm not going to pay anything except for the seatbelt ticket. Thanks,
Yeah.
The whole courtroom cracked up laughing.
Yeah, I'm with you. We've all been there, man. Is the cops pretty rough down in Australia? They pretty rough on you? They pretty lenient?
Nah, we're very, very over policed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't guess there's such thing as
They
a warning
impound
ticket.
you get caught doing a burnout, they impound your car.
Oh, wow.
Wow, no kidding.
That's
So,
pretty serious.
well, for 28 days it used to be that they impound it, and then it cost you like a couple of grand to get it out. And if you can't afford to get it out, they go and sell it. And then I think on your third, it's probably even tighter now, but 10 years ago it used to be on your third. They tried to crush one of my cars.
Wow.
They impounded it twice, and they were putting in into the court. Got it back, but yeah. So now it probably would have been crushed.
No
When I-
kidding.
They
Do
call
y'all
it
have-
hooning
do
laws.
they have-
Yeah.
Do they have auctions down there that you can actually bid on them cars and buy them?
Yeah. Yeah, so they just go to the normal auctions that I buy at. So, but they don't tell you that they're where they've come from. But you can generally work it out because they're covered in dust and they don't have keys or anything. And the same with like
Right.
the dealer cars and all of that. They go through. So I don't know if you've seen that little video I just did on that little black Mercedes.
Hadn't yet. Nope.
Right, so that was a proceeds of crime car. That was a drug dealer's car that was in a car chase, and they confiscated it off of him, and we bought that at auction.
So how was the price as far as that go? Pretty reasonable, or like anything else? I mean, did it bring what it's supposed to bring, or?
No, so we paid. So that had some damage as well because it was in the car in the cop chase, and the cops rammed it and stuff. But I think we paid $4,000 for it.
Right. See, I don't
Yeah,
know if
so
that-
but it needed all new tyres because it had been tyre spiked. It needed a couple of doors where they'd rammed it, and a couple of windows where they'd smashed the windows out to drag him out and stuff. And, yeah, but
We
still,
used
I think $6,000 or something.
Back when I was in the car business, we'd go down and buy from Atlanta. The city of Atlanta would have an auction, and they'd auction off all the cars and all the police cars and all the equipment and all that thing. But I think all that stuff's gone to that Gov deals now. I don't know where'd Bill go? He laid out on us. He was here.
Man, I thought he just dropped off, and I thought he was going to hop back on, but maybe he lost connection.
Yeah, but that's Gov deals. I think all that stuff's in Gov deals now. But that's the only thing about buying from Gov deals. You got to watch out where it's at because you might be bidding on something that be in Arizona. You don't realize it because it's all
right.
over the dang country.
Yeah, it was nice when you go local. It's my buddy. His family used to always go and get the K cars from auction when the state did the auction in Albany, New York, and
Right.
so that whole family always drove little K cars with AM radios and just stripped down models, no frills at all, because they were dirt cheap. Pick them up for a couple $100.
Yeah. I'm goofy. I think them little K cars are cool.
They're coming around. But I bought a lot from Atlanta. And then I bought a lot from wrecker auctions. Where they have wreckers impound the cars, and I bought a lot from them.
I watched some guy on YouTube. I think must be up there towards Maryland or somewhere, but he lives real close, and he gets to go over there and check them cars out before he bids on them.
Right.
And he can crank them up and listen to them. He can see how many idle hours if he's looking at a cop car.
Mhm.
Some of them will have stupid amount of idle hours.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
The miles might not be that high, but the idle hours are like, good Lord, they never shut them off.
Yeah.
And,
That's what my two Tahoe cop cars that I had, the one I have now and my 05 that I used to have, both of those averaged about 11 to 11 and a half miles an hour their whole career because of how because they sit idle all the time with the K9 unit in it and stuff. Now the one I got now, the guy told me it was not a K9 unit, and then we found out otherwise.
yeah.
You get in Action Auto. Jamie Phillips says, "Hey guys, I just stabbed two guys on the bottom. Uh-oh, I don't know what he's done to us. You better straighten up
No,
there."
he just subbed. Is what he said.
to the two guys in the bottom.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Eastern Hot Rodder and Copperhead.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it very much.
Yep, thanks.
And I'm glad you didn't stab anybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Y'all can realize
Steven's gonna have to clean his glasses, ain't he?
I I don't know if y'all know what dyslexia is, but I have got dyslexia, and so I have to really study my words.
No, I've got it. You know, that's one of the things. I really had a problem with reading and spelling. You know?
Oh man, and that's the thing about when I was in school. You know, I couldn't tell the difference in letters. You know, or none of that. Still can't. You know, you're dyslexic. Your letters just all run together. You know, you can read anything. And it'd be like you'd be in class, and the teacher every time, first thing, Stephen, will you read the first paragraph? And I'm back there thinking, you know, and then somebody make fun of me. Oh, he's stupid, and then I'd punch him in the mouth, you know.
I guess that's how you got over stage fright, ain't it? I guess that's how you got over stage fright.
Ah, man, I'll tell you, it's amazing how many people's got it. You know, I don't know if y'all know who Paul Thorne is, but we've actually become pretty good friends. He's a pretty good sized musician. I mean, he really should be bigger than what he is, but he's got dyslexia. And I didn't realize it, but we actually opened for him back when we played music. We opened for him down in Athens. And I had this poster. I said, dude, sign my poster. And when he signed it, you know, he put best wishes or whatever else. But anyway, it was all printed. And in the midst of the words, there were some capitals, and then they small letters, and there were some capitals and all that. And I turned around after he got through signing that, and I said, dude, you're dyslexic. He said, yeah, how'd you know? I said, I am too. I could tell with the writing, you know, because it had big letters and little letters in it, you know. But anyway, we'll have fun with it. I sent Jamie a link to this, but I don't know if he's going. He said he's been selling some parts up there, man. He's been busy. That's good.
Good, man. That's cool.
Yeah, he's getting a good junkyard service going.
Yeah.
Now, what town is it? What town is he in?
He's in Kentucky. Where's he at? He's up in Kentucky somewhere.
Yeah, he's not too far from like Corbin, Kentucky.
Okay.
He's west of Corbin, out through there, but he's not too far from Corbin. I've been to his house, and he had some unreal stuff. A lot of NOS. New old stock. He bought a bunch of Keystone wheels from the 70s and stuff like that. And cool. I mean, he had like nearly a warehouse full of them. I think over the years he's eventually sold them all down. But that set of Keystones that I used to have on my Chrysler 300, I bought that set of Keystones from him, and they was NOS from the 70s, and 5-on-4.5. Direct drip. And there he's put Stanford, Kentucky. That's where he's from.
Yeah. Thanks, Jamie.
But the Sears and Roebuck center caps that I've got on the slots on my van, I got from him. And
oh, really?
Yeah, you know, them center caps, stuff like that. I like stuff like that, you know, on my hot rods and stuff. It's you know, Sears. Yeah, I've still got that pimp plate. I bought a license plate that said Pimp 1, and I had it on that purple van. And it was a Kentucky plate that somebody had made, and he ended up with.
I'm gonna tell you, man, I don't know how y'all feel about them Cadillacs back in the day, but you know them Superfly Cadillacs that had them great big headlights and all that kind of chrome. I love that, man. I just think that's the coolest thing in the world. I don't want them. I'd cruise.
Well, I've been trying to figure. I've got some NOS. They're Corvette style side pipes, but they're. I'll get it said in just a minute. Anyway, they're chrome, like big 5-inch stack or whatever, like the Corvettes had on them.
Right.
Anyway, Hooker, you know, and I guess Holly quit making them. And,
Doug Thurley used to make it back in the 70s and stuff too.
Yeah, but anyway, I've been trying to figure out how to make them gold to put them on that satellite, where that satellite's black, I think, because see now the velocity stacks that's going on the tunnel ram, I've got them anodized gold and everything, and which I just painted it with that anodized, that yellow anodized. I painted the chrome ones, and I was going to paint the side pipes, but that anodized paint's only good for 500 degrees.
You probably do the shields of it anyway.
And so, but well, no, see these hookers that I've got, it's just the chrome pipe. There's no shield.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know,
all right.
It's sure enough going to be them leg burners, you know, to make sure you don't touch them. Because, and see the way they make it, it looks like 4 pipes going into that one great big stack is the way they make
Yeah.
it look. But it's only got 1 2-inch opening, and it is an actual header collector that it's going in to continue that pipe.
Yeah.
So I drilled one of the holes out because they put a plate over it to where it's just that 1 2-inch pipe going into that big. I ain't measured it, but I think that's a 5-inch chrome stack.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got a hole saw and I drilled another one of them holes out, and so now I'm gonna. I got a piece of pipe and I heated it and bent it to a 4-inch oval, and then it's 3-inch, and then anyway, but I'm going to run 3-inch through it, but it'll be 4-inch of exhaust that goes through that pipe actually.
There you go.
So I'm anxious to hear what that car is going to sound like.
We had a set of those hooker headers on my 73 Corvette. I bought them. They were big, huge primaries. They were 2 1/8-inch primary, 2 1/4 maybe. And they came down and dropped down underneath the car and came out, and they were all the pipes were live on it. And put them on the car, and there was so little space under the hood that it killed my AC lines. And then it heated my power steering box up, and it actually heated. If I had the hood on the car, if I drove it for half an hour, my brakes would start to stick on because it would heat the master cylinder so much it would expand the brake fluid. So I had to run the car hoodless to run those side pipes. So my dad used them on his Corvette and on a 64 Vet, and that had, I was stripped down hot rod with no AC or anything. So he bikinied the fender wells, ran those pipes, and never had a problem with them. But they were big, man. They came out and ducked under the frame, and it took a lot to get them on that 73. But with everything stripped out of that 64, they went on real easy. And the first pipes they got for it, I was like, I don't want it to be too loud. So they had ones that were quiet. There's a 4-inch pipe and had the slide-in muffler, and they had this auger type that was real loud, and then they had this regular glass pack type, and then they had this quiet turbo muffler style. And I was like, I'm going to go with that one. I went in, stuck them in the pipe, stuck them on the car, fired it up, and I revved it a few times. And I went in back in the house. My dad goes, "Did you put those pipes on?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I didn't hear it." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "What does it sound like?" I sounded like an old man with asthma. It was like, huh, huh, huh. It was like, you could hear the fan more than you could hear the exhaust. I couldn't wait. I took them off and sent them back. I got the regular glass pack style, and they were only like 2-inch in that. So I drilled holes in it to make it breathe a little bit better. But man, it was like I revved it. It was just,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I got mixed emotions.
Did you see that Eastern Hot Rodder? What Jamie just said?
Yeah, man. That's a cool. Those 2-piece ones. That'd be pretty cool. One of those. Some of those gasser guys would love to get a hold of that set.
Yeah.
How much? Let's see if he'll price him here. Man, he got that SS Impala in up there, and I was all about that. Of course, I'm like everybody else, I got to work, and I asked him about the hood, and he sent me a price on it. And then by the time I got back to him, he done sold the hood, the doors, the fender, and it's gone, man. He's talking about picking a car quick. I think it's a 94, mine's a 90, or it might have been a 95, mine's a 96, but it had that crowd induction hood and all that on. I thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah.
What's that red thing, Steven?
That is a Corvair pickup, man. You never seen it's a Corvair ramp side pickup truck. Yep.
Nah, I'm in love with that. I love that car.
That thing's pretty cool.
Yeah, we had.
What would that be worth?
I don't even know.
Them Corvettes here, or Corvairs, they don't bring. I'd say that bring more than what the regular car would. But the Corvair don't bring a whole lot.
The Ramside trucks, vans, and station wagon. The station wagon, especially Lakewood,
they do pretty good.
Well, now
Lakewood
this truck,
is pretty rare.
It had the 6-cylinder in the back like a regular Corvair. Do y'all have Corvairs at all down there where y'all at? No. Anyway, rear engine like a Volkswagen. It's basically a pancake motor like a Volkswagen, except they're 6 cylinders. And they had the rear in it, and they made vans, they made station wagons and cars. Basically, they just modified a van to make this pickup truck back in, I guess, what we think, 60.
Yeah, what killed them cars is there was a guy here in America his name was Ralph Nader, and he made a book that put them cars in unsafe at any speed.
But that truck had that ramp on the side of it, and people loved it because you could just set the ramp down, drive your your lawnmower up there, or anything you want to do, and all that. They used a lot.
It was, that was a great thing for the like landscapers because they could pull it to a curb, parallel park like normal, and still unload their stuff without worrying about anybody pulling up behind them.
Oh yeah.
We actually got
So what
two
do you,
of them.
what would you say that one of yours would be worth?
I have no idea. I don't even know where to start. I have no idea.
Is that motor locked up, Stephen? Did you ever try it?
Yes, we put PV blaster in it and transmission.
When I
fluid.
seen that nest in that carburetor, I thought that thing's history.
But that's just a Buick V6. It's not like anything with the. I think it's got that power glide 2-speed transmission, and then somebody put the rear end in it. That old boy had a junkyard up there. He used to come down, and we'd trade on everything. He'd come down with something, and we'd always trade just whatever he come in with. But it was a. I don't know what rear end he had in the thing or whatever else, but it's just a Buick V6. But the 2-speed power glide transmission, that's why we quit driving it, because
well, when I seen that Jeep sign that somebody used to uses metal, scrap metal, I thought, heck, that Jeep sign's probably worth more than that whole thing if it wasn't been cut.
I don't know. He said he had a 63 Core van. That's basically the same thing. So
yeah.
Is there a motor?
So the only thing that we have is that people they're importing a few of those. I think they're a Ford Econoline.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're similar design with that, where you
the little flat nose vans.
Yeah, but they're like a Ute as well. They look like Stevens. But
yeah. What do they call them? Econoline trucks? Is that just what they call them?
Yeah,
I'm not
the Econoline pickup. The buddy of mine had a couple of those that he put V8s in and stuff, but they were more they were conventional layout, front engine, rear wheel drive.
Dodge makes a van like that too, a van truck too.
Yeah, that's
that A100. Yeah. A100 Dodge truck. Van
Maverick,
truck. They was out
Maverick
there.
Golden made that one famous with making it a wheelie truck.
They're neat trucks. That truck there, that Corvair was really neat the way they had the layout on that thing. And
I always like how the nose came out a little bit on them compared to the flat nose vans.
The
way the hood kind of comes out, and then it's got that traditional looking Corvair kind of front end to it. Yeah. It was.
I'd say the reason why that one's up there at Stevens is somebody had a very, very bad overheating problem. I bet that you'd about had to put that radiator out in front of the grill and everything with fans blowing up.
That little V6, it wouldn't be much to keep that thing cool. It wouldn't be much to keep that thing.
Where did they mount the radiator? I didn't really see. Was it in front of the engine? Just in front of the engine?
They cut, it's in front of the engine. And they've got a kind of cut it to where the air could come up underneath it like a bottom feeder,
Did they?
Yeah. And then they cut the back out of that metal box.
I think I would mount it back by the tailgate, so it's still catching the wind, and you could angle it. You can fit a big radiator back there, and then run it right up, keep all the weight over the axle, make it wheelies real good.
Cooling's not a big deal nowadays because they got so much for us.
Now there's a metal worker out there in California. He actually makes for them A1 vans, and I think he does it for the Ford Econoline, where you cut the floor out and he makes this tunnel to where it'll scoop more air, to them radiators, because them radiators are right there, right there beside your leg. And that A1 van that I put that engine in back in 2020, that feller bought that kit and I put it in for him, where I cut the floor out and put that piece in to where it could get more air into the radiator.
Steve, I got a 454 with aluminum heads that makes about 600 horse. It'd be really cool in the bed of that.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is what I'll do. I'll bring it down there to you. You put the motor in there and all that work, and we'll split it.
There are magnets we can put in there.
I don't know, man. I just looked on Copperhead. I just looked on the website there, and one of them vans out there at that auction, that Mecum auction, brought $80,000. So I'd probably take 60 for mine. Ain't that the way they do it?
That's a deal.
I just seen one go through the Mecum auction for $90,000.
I had one just like it, just like that 70 Chevelle SS 454 car, except mine was a 6-cylinder 4-door. It was brown and it had 3 flat tires and a rock.
Yeah, but it was just like it.
And it wasn't a 70. It was a 76. Same car.
All original. This is the thing about that. This is no kidding now. I've got a 28A model in my front yard down here that my wife puts stuff on, like for spring, she puts spring stuff on it.
Yeah.
And then fall, she's got all this, she got hay out there and little fall stuff, for fall. And so we pull that thing down there. She said, look, I want you to put the A model back in the shed, and I want to pull the Corvair pickup down there, and I want to fix it up for Christmas. So it's going to be our yard display is going to be that Corvair pickup truck down there. But it wouldn't take much nowadays. Throw a rear end underneath that thing in some kind of
Stephen, as many cars as you've got, I'm surprised you ain't got one of them great big forklifts like Coparts has got, where you can just move your cars around without trying to push them.
I need
He
one.
doesn't have to. He just puts his mate in there with no brakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's more fun, ain't it?
Yeah. Watch him go.
I was
Did
impressed,
you-
man.
did-
You pushed your son down the hill with no brakes, and he made it to the bottom. And we fire up Bill Ackerman's little Falcon Reno there, and I drop it and drive, and the thing flies across the driveway and smacks into a tractor.
You gotta realize though, I started these boys out young, man. They were 6, 7 years old doing that, so they're used to it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're used to it.
Did you guys see the video of his worker where he's pushing him in that car and that bee's nest got rattled up in there and started stinging him?
No.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
really happened.
Yeah.
That is no kidding. We got a guy works for me named Tom, and we give him a hard time, but he'll do anything you ask him. But we bought this old Mercury, and it'd been sitting in this shed. And actually, what happened? It was sitting out, and a car run out of the road and run over top of it, just tore it all pieces. And they pushed it back in the shed, but it's got a 429, real low mile car, tore all pieces. So we were going to load that thing. They'd been sitting in the shed, and the windows broke out of it and everything else. And they took the seat out of it. And he was sitting on a milk crate. And so I had that old Dodge truck. I got a 89 or 98 Dodge truck, big Cummins, diesel, dually, and all that stuff with a big metal bumper on the front of it. And I was just giving him a hard time. I'd back off and I just ram that thing, just jarring. And there was a dang wasp nest bee's nest up on the dash. And that last time I bumped him, man, it shook them bees loose. And son, he was inside that car and they come undone. And we got it on film. It's on one of them shorts, but you see that bee coming out if you put on slow motion. Oh!
And Steven's still pushing him too, though.
Yeah,
When the bees are coming out.
I love it. That is so fun. I did that one time before. When you ain't got no money, just do the best you can. I traded up a Ford Escort. You remember that? I think it's 84, 85 Escort. This guy had it. And we went up there and got it. I got it with a tow strap in a Dodge van. That's all I had. And so I had a buddy of mine. He got in the little Escort, and it'd been sitting there with the windows cracked, and hooked that rope to it. And down the road we went, man. I just started lickety split down at the house and coming down the road. He slammed the brakes on, man. And I thought he was just goofing off with me, and I just jerked her down a second gear and went faster, and he slammed the brakes on again. And this time he just killed him, and I thought, what the heck? So I pulled over the side of the road. And he bailed out of that car, and I'm not kidding you, man. They eat him up. I bet you he got stung 50 times.
Oh,
And all he said to me was, he said, Stephen, that was a lonesome feeling.
lonesome.
That was a lonesome feeling because he couldn't get out. We were running 60 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah.
He's just eating him alive.
Oh Lord.
I don't know whatever happened to Mark. I don't know if he's still alive or not. But anyway, that was a hoot. That was so funny. That was so funny. I'll never forget that. We didn't have video cameras back then. If I'd have videoed that would have been good. But
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I've got into some crazy stuff over the years, just out of being poor and not be able to afford. I'd like to have a ramp truck. That's what I'm leaning towards. I want a ramp truck.
Oh, yeah.
I really-
There's one on Facebook right now, a 4-door Dodge. This guy's trying to trade it. He's wanting to trade it for a B body or something like that.
I've seen it, but I don't want
That
a big
that
4-door.
440 Ram truck, that'd be like 3 miles to the gallon.
I wouldn't mind that part, but the thing about them people, they get them 4-door ramp trucks, which is great. But what them ramp trucks basically was race car drivers, just like you are down there, and everybody get in the cab and they go the track. But if you're gonna try to move cars around the yard, you don't need a big old long truck like that.
You need a field to turn that thing in, don't you?
Oh Lord, yeah. I had that one that was. Y'all remember them vans that they made into fifth wheel haulers that they put the little extra cab on the back of the van?
Yeah.
I had one of those that I made a ramp truck out of, man. And I'm telling you right now, when you pulled out and turned left on the road, you'd have to stop and back up and then take another turn to get going. I mean, it was terrible.
They call them vans Dreamers, is what they call them.
Dreamers.
Yeah.
It was cool. It's red, white, and blue. I looked good going down the road, but when you come to a curve, man, what's he doing? He's stopping, backing up.
Yeah, you'd find a good car up on Whiskey Mountain and wouldn't be able to get up there to get it, would you?
Yeah, no way. It wouldn't go. You can forget it. Yep, you can forget it.
I'd say your trash trucks have trouble getting up some of these curvy places, don't they?
I've got that Isuzu NPR. I'm really thinking about building it into one. It's a 350. It's that, I don't know what it's probably what model I reckon that thing is, 96, 97.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that Vortec fuel injection them years. The spiders are always going out. They'll always eat a gear off of distributors. I mean, they had a lot of goofy problems that would leave you stranded.
Bill,
I've heard a lot of bad stuff about those trucks.
The NPR.
I never liked the way they look. Like it looked like they didn't look very comfortable to drive.
The NPR.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I don't know how many I got. I got probably 8 parts trucks and 5 or 6 running.
Yeah, you like
They are tough. The diesels. Now I had that one gas. We had to quit driving it because it just kill you on gas mileage. But you can turn that thing around in your living room. I'm not kidding you. I bet y'all have the Isuzu NPRs down and y'all have the little Isuzu cab overs.
Yep.
That's what I run.
You're just not going to stretch out and relax in them driving. You're just going to be.
They're really fine. They really do fine. The only thing about it, you wreck you the first one there.
Yeah.
One of our delivery trucks was a International. It was a 97 International. It was the LPX model.
Right.
And the LPX was extra low profile. So everybody's like, man, you guys hot rod everything. I thought we lowered it, but it sat lower than a regular International.
Mm-hmm.
And we got that one because the steering turned farther. Like when we left tracks in the snow, it was almost 90 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You could crank that wheel, and man, it would hook right in. It was big 18-foot box on the back of it, and I could snake that into just about anybody's driveway. It just didn't matter where it was. We'd get up in there and just turn that thing around. It had a better turning radius than most of my cars did. It was
that's
people were
crazy.
amazed.
Things turn around. Copperhead, are you where you're supposed to be going now? Where did you say you was going?
The hardware shop, yeah, nearly.
Hardware shop, is that what you call
Yeah,
it?
like Bunnings we're going to. I don't know. You don't have Bunnings, do you?
No.
No.
Bunnings?
It's like Lowe's. Is Lowe's your hardware shop? Where you
Yeah.
go and get all your everything,
Yeah, Lowe's, Home Depot.
Yeah, like one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have, our little town. We have to go to Blairsville.
Well, we've just been driving the whole time, so it's like an hour drive, hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah. We live out in the middle of
You
nowhere.
sound like us. We're 2 hours from anywhere you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like about half hour to the closest town, but that doesn't have anything. Well, it has a Macca's and whatever, but it doesn't have any of the big stores or anything there.
What about Walmart? Y'all got Walmart?
Nah,
No,
we
you
have
don't have
Kmart. It's the same
You
sort of thing as Walmart.
You still got Kmart down there?
Yeah, Kmart and Target.
Yeah.
We got Target, but
Kmart-
Kmart went out of
Kmart.
business one time ago.
Yeah. Kmart went out of business in the U.S.
Yeah, okay. Nah, we still got them.
That was a big thing back in the 70s. Kmart was real big.
I used to love going to Kmart with my parents when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Go check out the guns and the guitars and everything.
We don't have cool stuff like that at our Kmart.
We got
You don't have guns?
We're not allowed to have guns.
Oh, you're
We're all
not?
too stupid. Nah, there's no guns here. You're all too stupid to have guns. Imagine if they had guns here. Man, people are bad enough without them.
Have they not never had guns?
Hey, man, I have got.
They had a gun recall, whatever, where, yeah, well, I think farmers can still have them. Like, you got to have all these special licenses of being gun clubs now to have guns, but yeah, they took them off the general population.
So, what do you do when somebody breaks in your house?
Hit them with me fist.
What if they 2 or 3 of them?
What if they're shooting?
Hit them
at
all with me fist.
you? Yeah. What if they're shooting at
Don't
you?
worry, I'll go pretty good. Hey, I'll run into 10 people. I'll go all right with you. And then come to a street fight.
So, I'm sure there's still crime as far as that goes. Are there a lot of shooting still happening or not?
Shootings are not a real lot now.
No.
before they took the guns up, was there a lot of shootings?
Nah, what happened was they had some freaking idiot that went and like killed 10 people. Did one of those like shooting, those mass shooting things, and then that was it. Then they went, right, we're taking guns off everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I doubt very seriously that the government of the United States could actually take up the arms in America. I don't think it could be done.
I think they could try it, but it would never happen.
Yeah.
The thing about it, that's
look,
the only reason we're free right now, because they said that even when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, they were afraid to come into America because everybody in America carries guns.
Yeah, see, that's what. Well, like you come and invade us, and then all you've got to beat is the army, because none of us have got any firepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese emperor said, "We will never invade the United States because there will be a gun behind every rock and blade of grass." And they're probably not wrong. I think there's when I looked at the stats, it was like 109 guns per 100 people. So there's more guns than there is people.
Yeah.
And and if you look at it, the national crime, violent crime across the globe, we're not even close to the top. So that whole idea that more guns means more crime never panned out.
Yeah.
Well, now they did.
See, all the baddies, the criminals still have guns. Even here, the criminals can still get their hands on guns and stuff. So it's only the good people now that don't have them.
That's
right.
exactly
right.
Well,
you make guns illegal.
That's kind of like the saying that the locked door only keeps the honest people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not there, somebody can kick your door in. They're going to clean you out. There ain't much you can do about it.
That's right.
Guns are popular enough here in the States that I've seen a lot of hot rods with guns welded to them for different reasons. Shotguns turned into shifters and stuff like that.
Copperhead, I've got a business proposition for you, and I'll send you an email. I'm gonna buy a boat.
You're gonna buy a boat.
We're gonna be rich.
Oh, we all right. Hey, maybe we should do that thing that John showed the other day. Buy that little. What was it?
Oh, the Amphicar? I think they do like 6. I think they do like 6 miles an hour, 6 knots is all they do. It takes forever.
How many guns can we put in the trunk of that thing?
That looks like a type of boat. And then I realized that I seen the props and I went, it is a freaking boat.
You didn't have those down? You don't have those down in Australia?
Only ones that some idiots made. Like that, there's some idiots like made a freaking Ferrari into a boat. And
okay, no, see, the Amphicar was actually a production
shit, but yeah.
That's my buddy Jeff's car. That he bought that car quite a few years ago, and he said the first time he took it out in the water, he got pulled over by the lake police, and because he didn't have DOT numbers on it, and he didn't want to put the boat numbers on it. So he's like, I already paid to put a license plate on it, and they said, well, you have to have boat numbers because it's a boat. He goes, well, it's a car. He goes, but you're in the water. So he goes, don't let me catch you out again with it. So he snuck it out another time, got snagged the second time. And then finally the third time, the guy pulled him over just to make sure he had the numbers stuck on the front of it. But he said he hated putting the stupid numbers up there, because it looks stupid on the fender. But it floats, and it works. He comes down the boat ramp, and he says it's funny. He comes down the boat ramp, and there's usually kids swimming there, and he's like, he gets out and guys, you got to move out of the way. And they're like, why? He says, because I got to wash my car. And then he gets in it and just drives out in the water, and the kids think it's, they freak out, and he just keeps going.
You talking about getting tickets, man. There's this guy named Duck was here. He was down at the lake with his kids, and he's bad to drink, and he was drinking pretty heavy. And his boy had one of them blow-up rafts, the little blow-up kid rafts.
Yeah.
He got in that thing. He was drinking, and he took his leaf blower. That's a gas leaf blower, and put behind him, and he was scooting along the lake in that leaf blower. And they pulled him over and give him a BUI, drunk under the influence, driving that boat.
It's a leaf blower. If he left the leaf blower, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
That'd be about like George Jones getting pulled over on his lawnmower.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I remember that, though. Do you remember Duck doing that, Sean, or you don't?
No, it seems like I remember a little something about that.
Yeah, he was always into something, Duck was, so I don't know. That little Amphicar thing you're talking about, they're pretty high dollar rigs.
Yeah, they are. I remember my dad he almost bought a couple of them when I was a little kid, and the guy wanted $2,500 for the pair, and my dad was like, "Man, where the heck am I ever going to get parts or anything for it?" One floated and worked, and the other one was a good parts car that still ran, but the hull was rotted enough where it wouldn't float. And he passed on it. And now, I mean, every time we see one and see what the prices go for them, like, man, we should have grabbed those. Those things are worth a mint. Now, talking to Jeff, he said if the transmission goes, there's only one guy in the United States that fixes the trannies.
Right.
And they're like, it's like a transaxle setup. And he said it's like 10 grand for a transaxle. So he said if his transmission goes, then he'll never get his money back out of it. So,
yeah, I wouldn't want something like that.
Dude, I would. That'd be cool.
I think they were made in England, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have like a little, looks like a little British, like MG motor in it. I'm not sure exactly. I think they were a British-made vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the engine was sourced from Britain, but everything else was made stateside. I'm not sure.
I wonder if they're positive ground. Then if it's going to electrically charge the water.
I don't know if the positive, they could be, well, positive or negative ground would work
That's
either
what
way.
you're thinking, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Fellas, we burned up about an hour here and not covered a whole lot of anything, but we've got a lot of talking going on. I love to see what Copperhead's doing down there, man. He's always into something.
Yeah.
I was starting to look like a squirrel welding, so I had to have a few days off from welding. So I haven't really done a lot this way. I started a little Suzuki, just doing a little flip car. So smashed the flip car I'm fixing, and then I'm doing the tray. I've done all the wood in the tray of that thing, and then I painted it with the brush, and I was sanding it all down to like flatten it, but then I didn't like the look of it, like I'm burning through deliberately, but then I didn't like the look of it. So last night I went on with the roller, and then it makes it look like satin, gives it like an even texture, and it sattens the black. So that's what I think what I'm going to do now.
So how's your channel? Is it growing? Are you growing now? Is it kind of took off a little bit?
I don't know. We're at about 16, 20 or something.
Right.
So it's only the shorts that pick it up. The normal videos still aren't really doing much. So I don't know.
I think they're pushing the shorts right now, and that's where I've been picking mine up. I think I busted 2,000 yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen that.
2,000.
So it's just like, but what are your big videos doing? Your big videos aren't doing a lot, are they?
How about, it just depends on what it is. I can look here and see right quick. What about you? I don't understand why. Hold on a minute. I'm looking. I can't think and talk the same. Eastern Hot Rod. I don't know why John's channel's not taking off no more than what it is.
Yeah, I just broke 300 subscribers yesterday.
Yes, it started to go, hasn't it? It started lifting up because you've been doing shorts and crap now, hasn't it?
Yeah, put a few shorts on, and it's funny what the shorts are kind of crack me up. I put a short on of my dog stalking me, and it goes to 3,300 and something people, and then I put a video on of ZZ Top, and it gets to less than 400. And then the walk around of my engine.
They are hit and miss. I pull them. I sometimes pull them down and then put them back up. Right. So you'll probably notice that I'll have some of those videos I've put up 5 or 10 times. One time it'll get 100 views. The next time it gets 19,000 views. Like they're just all over the joint, and I don't know if it's to do with when you put them or they're just so hit and miss.
I don't know. I look at that analytics and tells when everybody's on that video I posted yesterday. I've got over 300 views on it so far.
Okay.
On it.
See, so like the one I put up yesterday, which is meant to be the best time when I put it up, I think I had 30.
I got that one with Chuck Beck. It's got 748,000 views on that Chuck Beck.
You know that other channel I was talking to you about?
Yeah.
So I was having a look. He's gone quiet. I reckon he was buying views.
See, that ain't gonna help you. That ain't gonna help you at all.
Yeah.
No, I reckon he's got busted for it. But I was just going through. I went through he's got 50 videos and the subscribers which went through the roof really quick, and then they've stopped, and then every video's views are all 2, 3, 4 up to 10,000, and they're all of them, even like his first videos, and I'm like, this dude, he's just been buying all the views, I'm sure of it.
I don't know. I don't see how that's going to help you, but like I said, there's some, I work mine pretty hard. Of course, I got boys in here with me. I've got several channels that I watch. I like Jamie's, Action Auto, because I like to see what he's dragging in up there, because I know there's something I'm going to need for it's over with. But there's some channels out there that's growing that the content to me is just beyond. It's just like nothing. But
It's crap.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I guess they change. But
I don't know. So I don't know. Like I don't know if I do. I'm trying to do this pretty full on. Like I'm tired, but I'm actually having a red hot crack at this thing, and then I think they're pretty good what I'm doing. But and I think the content's there, but it's just so I don't know. Like I'm going to have 2 hot rods built from scratch within 12 months on the channel. So there's not many. Even the big channels aren't pulling that off. And both budget builds done, and they're both like, they don't look like $5,000 cars. They look like $50,000 cars, and I'm going to have 2 finished within 12 months. So I don't know.
You got a $5,000 car. I don't know. I'm afraid to even look at to see how much I've got in that 440 that I'm fixing to put in that that satellite.
Yeah.
But $5,000 Australian. That's only like $3,000 American.
Yeah.
Well, that Bedford, that's a 3,000 American build from scratch, from something pulled out of a paddock to driving along.
That's my little red truck I built for $3,000 originally, and now since then I put some more money into it. So it was probably, before I pulled the motor out, I was probably about $4,500 into it, and I was I used it pretty heavy for about a half dozen years. But now I'm switching to a hydraulic roller and doing some stuff, and not even doing a heavy rebuild. I'm using the same pistons over. So just honed it and rerung it, and just the valve chain components and everything. The cost of everything has gone up so much that I'm going to end up with almost what I had in the whole original build into just the engine and transmission.
In the motor.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you something. I've been watching all this stuff. I keep up that. I'm looking right here. Steel Dreams. I don't know if y'all follow him or not. He's out in Arizona or somewhere, but he does a lot of body swaps. He does a lot of body swaps where he takes a car and he actually put a 59 Chevrolet or 60 Chevrolet on a one of them cop cars, the LS1 cop, the Caprice, which is a unitized body. But I sent him an email. He said he'd join us one night, but he's kind of busy right now. That's a pretty neat deal. All that body swap things people are doing. And then they got another thing that's took off like wildfire. I like street legal stock cars, but they got them rails. What do they call it? Where they take like a Miata, they strip it down to nothing, and they put roll bars on it, headlights.
They can make a card out of it.
Make a card out of it. That's a huge thing going right now. There are people are doing this, and and
I think what it is just it's a cheap way to have fun.
Do what now?
It's the same reason the rat rod craze was so hot for a while, until all of a sudden that stuff started going gangbusters too. But it was just a cheap way to do it. You're getting out there having fun. Cheapest way to go fast is take weight off the car. I
think once I get this satellite done, then I'm gonna get on that Yugo. I'll do a real goofy build and see how many views it gets. Because basically that Yugo, what I'd really like to do is get one of them 3-cylinder Kubota diesels and put in that thing.
There you go.
With these rails, I don't know what they RAL or RUL. I don't know what they call them. I need to look it up, but anyway, but they're taking these little. Well, the Miata's not really the best one to do, but they're taking these Hondas and all that kind of stuff, and they're stripping them down, and they're busting Lamborghinis and Ferraris like 0 to 60.
If they're using that little Honda S2000 engine, that's like a 250 horsepower 4-cylinder. And
turbocharge them.
No, this is just a normally aspirated variable valve.
I'm just saying, engine. Then they turbocharge them.
Oh. And and it's just 250 horsepower back in 1985 for us. That was a stupid fast car. What was the horsepower rating on one of them Buick Grand National GNXs? Wasn't it it was just 200 something horses, wasn't it?
275 or something for the intercooler.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the talk of town.
I think the GNX cracked 300 if I remember right.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, in them little G bodies, that was pretty much about the best power to weight ratio on them things. And you could get,
when they broke 300 horse again, it was
Exo. That's what they call them. They call them Exo cars.
Exo. Because they look like just an exoskeleton.
Exo cart. That's what they call them. That's what it is.
They're just making a skeleton then around it. Does it look like that hot rod Corvette where they stripped the whole body off the Corvette?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same
doing that with
thing.
C4 and C5 Corvette's pretty big, and it's but at the end of the day, when you're done with that, what do you got?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Well,
you
I
just
mean,
got a bunch of parts.
some of them look pretty cool.
Yeah,
Some of them look pretty cool. That'd be a cheap
Yeah.
bill though. But I
That's
mean,
just it.
I don't know if there is such thing as a cheap build.
Yeah, cheap and turbo don't really go.
Right.
who's good on turbos, man? I'd like to do some turbo. I've kind of got and a supercharger. What is better, supercharger? You got the supercharger that you can put on the front of the motor on the belt, or you got the turbo?
Well,
Which one?
Well, the turbo has less parasitic drag, so it makes more power. It has the potential for making more power, where a supercharger being belt driven has a lot of parasitic loss. So like a 671 root style supercharger is probably the least efficient of the bunch, even though it's the coolest looking. To run a 671, it'll take about 100 horsepower or so, to run the blower. So when you're making a 700 horsepower engine with a blower, if you switch to a turbo, in theory, you should be able to make 800 horsepower with everything else being the same. So
I got that
turbo-
Marauder. I'd like to supercharge that Marauder. They actually make, because it's that I call it the Cobra motor, but that 32 valve, 4.6 liter. It's bad news, but I'd really like to supercharge that thing. And I think they actually make a kit. They come from
And
factory.
the other nice thing that the superchargers make a lot more low end torque, no lag.
Yeah, that's the difference in it. Really, is the supercharger's on instantly, whereas the turbo has a big lump of lag, and until it starts revving up, then it's dead. Like my purple Ute that I had with that inline 6-cylinder, that was close to 1,000 horsepower, but down off the lights, unless I got that up to like 4,000 revs, the wife dragged me off in a 4-wheel drive Mercedes off the lights until my turbo kicked in, and then I just
Took off.
disappeared. Yeah, but for the first, I don't know, probably 50, 60 meters, she had me in a freaking 4-wheel drive Mercedes. Like, I was sitting there looking over going, what the frick? Like, I've got 1,000 horsepower car and this freaking 4-wheel drive, the wife is smoking me, And then all of a sudden, the turbo kicked in and off I went. I'm like, oh, thank God I would have never heard the end of that. Because she knows she had me there for a while.
Yeah.
I was looking over and I was panicking. She'd seen it in my face.
Them original like 671 superchargers and that didn't they first come out on diesel engines?
Yeah, that's what they call them, Jimmys. Yeah, the Jimmy root style blowers. They call them.
I've never seen one in a truck or anything like that. I'd like to see one on a diesel to see what it.
My dad had an old school bus, 48, or not school bus, a touring bus. It was a big 6-cylinder. So that designation was 671. That meant it went on a 6-cylinder, and it was 71 cubic inches per cylinder. So 471 was on a 4-cylinder, and so on. I had a little 171 on a blower on my Neon shop for an air pump. But so you had 871s, and then of course now the aftermarket goes all the way up to 1471. But
now that diesel
they bolted to the side of the block, and someone got the great idea to take one off of there and stick it on a hot rod.
But them Detroits are 2-strokes, ain't they?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 2-stroke. I love to hear them 2-stroke diesels, them Detroit diesels, man. I love to hear them things, Rob.
Yeah.
They're just real bad to leak oil, ain't they? Them
Oh yeah. That thing left a puddle all the time.
Yeah.
That's
worse.
stinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. That rail thing's kind of got me, RUL or rail or whatever they call them. That autocross, I'm burned up with autocross. That is so much fun, man. That is so much fun. You have no idea.
Gotta be fun.
And I know I'm all right with car shows.
fun
I'm
than
okay
these
with
people.
car shows, but you go and you burn up and you sit at your car. But actually get out and drive and go through the course and try to outdo somebody, man. That is so much more fun. Absolutely, so much.
Like some of the best shows I've ever been to always have some action going on. They got either a nostalgia drag event or autocross, something. Even if I used to go to Lebanon Valley Dragway a lot for their shows, and there were some times where I didn't even get a chance to get to the stands to watch a car go by, but just hearing them in the background while you're looking at parts and cars was enough to make the day better.
Yeah, I love
that Mo party that I went to up there at Bowling Green, it was an awesome show. And they have the LS Fest there. See, Holly was the one, but that facility that they got there is just awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's got, of course, I posted the picture on Facebook of my van, but they've got one of them old school wooden roller coasters at this drag complex, and they had off-road racing, the rally course racing, drag racing.
Oh, I love that rally.
It was just unreal, all the stuff that they had there.
Now, have you, Copperhead, you ever done any of that road rallies, or what do they call that? They call that
No, the autocross stuff. No.
autocross. Man, that is so much fun, man. I'm not kidding you. And there's no way to tear anything up because you're in the middle of a parking lot with a bunch of cones.
Yeah, there's no idiot next to you banging into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one at a time. You just go out. It's a Liberty.
So that's why I said when I raced, we'd make this thing, and it was like, I took a lot of pride in my car. It would be like a show car, and then you wouldn't want to race it because it was nice. So you know, in the end, we'd worked out that if I'd go and I'd hit it with a hammer, so I put a dent in it myself. So then I'd go out and actually drive the thing.
Race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
But then you didn't care if you banged it into someone. Like,
Yeah. So, anyway.
otherwise you're just going backwards.
Well, folks, let's get out of here. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I don't know about Copperhead. He's already at work, and I got to go to work tomorrow. And I guess y'all do too, don't you? Yeah. So anyway, well, let's do it again next week. Hopefully I get Jamie back on with us, and I'll ask that dude out there that does that. I think he's in Colorado. He talked about coming. If y'all know anybody join us, just let us know, man. I've got Steve Maggs. He's out doing this car thing, so maybe we'll give him a day or two. But I do enjoy this. I hope y'all do.
And next week, Keith said he should be all set to be on for talking about model kits and stuff like that.
Yeah, tell Copperhead what's going on with that because he's so far down south. Now, Copperhead, I sent you my cell phone. I don't know if you can text. I know dang well I can't call you because there's probably 40 numbers to dial, but I don't know if we can text back and forth or not.
I don't know. I'll try send you a text when we get off and see what happens.
Yeah. But anyway, tell him what you got going on, who you got coming.
I got my buddy Keith Wagner. He's big into the plastic model kit cars, you know, 1/24th scale, 1/25th scale stuff. He's got the biggest private collection I've seen. He scaled it back. He's down to, I think, about 450 models. So he's
okay. Has he got a channel?
No, he does not. But
Okay.
He's got one heck of a collection. He's been starting to kind of specialize and build his collection towards certain things. And he's been on national event winner for his model building skills and stuff. And he's got one crazy looking themed hot rod that he built out of his own crazy mind, and it's pretty neat. I actually did a walk around on his collection and his car on one of my YouTube videos. Yeah, there's a picture of his car on the I think is the cover photo of that video. But I asked him if he'd be interested in coming on and talking about some of the model kits because he knows the ins and outs of them. He knows the values and stuff of them. And he said he's got a friend of his that's into the slot car stuff pretty heavy too. So there might be both of them next week.
Okay. There's a bloke that I don't know if he subscribed or whatever that's into that has a channel.
Is that Throttle Power?
Throttle Power.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff on his channel. He covers car shows and the model stuff too.
Yeah.
Throttle Power. I'm gonna have to look at that. Y'all know him or not?
I know
He
just
used to comment on the videos, but he hasn't for a while. But he was commenting on my videos.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
covers a lot of. So he must live pretty close by because a lot of the car shows he covers are fairly close to us.
He's commented on one of your videos. I've seen him. I don't know whose.
Yeah.
Is it yours?
Yeah, but I was watching. I subscribed to his channel too, and I was watching a lot of his videos, and he hits a lot of stuff around Tennessee and stuff. So but he also hits stuff out in the Midwestern part of the U.S. You know, he goes to the James Dean run and stuff like that. So
Well, I didn't realize that, but I've watched a couple of his videos because mine tells my history on the thing. I looked at this Acme 2022 model car swap thing in Southern Nationals. I'm gonna tell you, growing up, man, that was a huge thing, man.
Yeah, you're not kidding, man. I still have them. The ones I built, I got some of them stuck on display in my garage just to remind me of what it was when I was a kid. You know.
I got a pickup the other week, a little a 32 Ford pickup. I went and bought one for mine to do when I finish mine. So yeah, it's just sitting there in the box, brand new.
But I'm sorry, we used to build them model cars, and then after we get tired of looking at them, then we'd melt them and make crush, and we'd wreck them. I'm not kidding. That's a big thing, trying to make the best crash you could make. You know,
I did that with Hot Wheels. I was into Hot Wheels, and so I'd actually go and buy, get two of the ones, like two of the same one, and one I'd smash up with the hammer,
Yeah.
And then they'd have their little race, and I'd have the good one racing, and then they'd have a prang, and then the smashed up one would take its place. Well, yeah.
Check this out right here. I get all kinds of. I own an antique store, or my wife does, but I don't know if
Okay.
I can see that. But that is a red line Barracuda. That's in real bad shape. Can you see it?
That's cool.
Yep.
But it's got the red line wheels on it.
Yeah, but
That thing was in good shape. It's about $250, and then I got this one here, which is the Hot Wheels. But the wheels are gone off of it. It's the same thing. It's one of the high dollar red line.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty high dollar cars. I had one that was perfect. It was a Dodge Charger, the red line Dodge
I think my internet just went.
Charger. It was gold, and I actually sold that at the antique mall. I think it brought $300. The little these are the little Matchbox, but that's the little Barracuda there. But it's in bad shape. But I got all kinds of junk like that, man. It's not just you collect cars; you collect all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
We're hot rodders, man. That's what we do. We're all hoarders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We just don't admit it.
Well,
I'm a hoarder. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know I am.
Y'all
My
have a
kids.
good
That's
week.
the thing about it. We went and done a wheel the other day. Me and my wife does, and my kids are fighting over a wheel now because they're saying, "I don't want Daddy's cars. Don't give this one. Give them all away or something like that." I said, "No, you're taking them. You're taking them." No, I'm just kidding. I'm lucky, man. A lot of times, kids don't care for what their parents do, but my boys are all about cars and trucks and motorcycles. Dylan's up there doing a video right now on a 4-wheeler he's building. He bought one of them souped up, stupid, crazy fast 4-wheeler, and he's building a motor on it, and he's going through all that. And I'm pretty lucky to have my boys. They like cars like I do, and planes and stuff like that. So, yeah,
I mean, that is lucky. I know a bunch of guys that, they're starting to get on in the years. And I had a friend of mine. He had his 66 Chevelle SS396 car that his dad made him buy when he was like 16 years old, and he owned that car since 1971. And he just sold it probably about 5 or 6 years ago because he said my daughter won't ever. She goes, she'll just sell it to the first person with $20 in his pocket because she doesn't care about it at all. And I've heard that so many times, and it's kind of a heartbreaker, when someone they pour their heart and soul into that car, and that's they love that car and that's their hobby, and then their kid doesn't even want to look at it. It's just Steve, you're very fortunate, and I am too, man. Both my girls are into the hobby.
I think what it is some of these guys don't get their kids involved to basically, it's like drinking coffee. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And they of course if they're one of them fellers that works on cars, maybe that throws hammers and cusses and stuff, and then the kids is like, I don't think he's having fun doing this.
Yeah.
I've thrown hammers. The kids are still out there.
Whenever I'm working on my stuff, I don't really get angry. But now, when somebody brings,
now, Sean,
yeah,
I've seen you put bad fence up there. You're lying now.
no, that ain't on my stuff. That's not
what I
on my
think it
car.
is.
The paying customers cars. That's the ones you can get mad about working on them.
I think that it is.
Some of these new cars, they're not pleasurable to work on.
I'm gonna tell you, my daddy and my middle boy Dylan have the most patience to work on something. I don't know how they do it, but they'll stand there for an hour and get it. And I mean, after about 5 minutes, man, I'm exploding. I'm like, heck with it. Let's just go buy new. I couldn't do it. I don't know how they do it, but they got.
I think the difference between involved and not involved is not only just bringing the kids with you, but knowing when to not. I don't know if that makes sense. I remember I was at a show one time, and it was a big swap meet, real big swap meet, and me and my dad were walking around checking stuff out, and this guy was walking, and his wife and 2 kids were with him, and they were dragging, and it was a long day. It was hot, and they're going, Dad, can we go? He's, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I said, there's a guy that's going to wreck it for his kids.
Yeah.
Because they hated it. Now, if instead of bringing them to an all day or a 2-day event or a big, long, drawn out show like that, where, seasoned car people love it, take them to a local cruise night first, spend an hour or 2 there, and then take them to a little bit bigger car show. There was times when Liberty was little where she wanted to go with me. And I was like, no, kiddo, it's going to be just too long of a day. It was 8 or 9 hours out in the sun. At her age, she would have been bored out of her mind and hated it. So it was, if she wanted to go, she'd go. If it was a smaller show, but I think by doing that, and then just, I don't know, cars, and I think you guys are probably the same way. Cars aren't just stuck in the garage. magazines, stuff on your walls. It's all artwork. I got car tattoos and it's a huge part of our life.
Well, it's not whenever you're really, really a real car guy, it's about the smells too.
The smell of old magazines. I love the smell of old magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
But y'all a little bit more of a car guy than I am. I don't go around smelling magazines. So
I love the smell of old literature, man. It's awesome. It's
y'all a little weird.
Just open the door, you can smell you can close your eyes and you can open the door of a car and you can know about what year it was.
Yeah, I can do that.
Know if it's a 50s car, a 40s car, a 60s car. It's just that's a good smell, man.
I love watching old movies and being on them filming the inside of the car and trying to figure out what kind of car it is before they show the outside.
See,
I can't do it on this new stuff. Anyway, let's get out of here. I got to get to work, man. I got to get in bed and get to work, but it's always a joy.
Right, and y'all have a good week.
I'll send that Throttle Power dude an email, see if he wants to join us next week. We'll have all that.
That'd be cool, man. Because he's into it heavy too. Him and Keith would probably hit it. I actually sent Keith the link to Throttle Power's page because he was. I know those guys would probably get along pretty well together.
I'm gonna check this next time. I didn't know I had to do a new link, but I'll check it and make sure we got everything next week. But anyway, all right, folks, y'all be good. Right. Been good talking to you.
Easy.
Send me a text, Copperhead, and let's see if it works.
Yeah, I will.
It probably cost $8 a text, but anyway.
All right, we'll work it out.